What a chapter of Sakamoto days. This plot twist, whatever Yuto Suzuki has been doing over the course of the last couple of chapters, genuinely has added more stakes to the Sakamoto Days series than I think any arc before, except maybe the Death Row Prisoner arc, where Sakamoto's family and everyone that we knew was in danger. I know there are some controversial tales in regards to everything that's going on, and I'll definitely get into some of them because I can actually see where some people's perspectives are. But I think the way that Suzuki is taking this, while there wasn't much foundation laid below, I think what this arc can become is going to outweigh if we never got it. Because the Order teaming up with X, while jarring, is insane, especially with the reasonings that we get. Especially what we hear from Oki here with modern developments of surveillance, the cost of assassination skyrocketing, demand plummeting. Assassination is becoming obsolete because of information warfare, cancel culture, fake news, and Oki, as the psychopath that he is, loves having power, loves killing people. He loves being in the position that he is on top of the world. He is what he feels. Remember, the JAA was basically in charge of the government, in charge of everything based off of what Izuki said last chapter. So Oki at the top of the Order might have been second in command or one of the highest up people in the world. So he loves being on this peak. Although I understand that we haven't gone into any of these concepts, which is what a lot of people seem to have issues with, because, Suzuki has done no groundwork of making assassins seem covert. Suzuki has done no groundwork of making it seem like assassinations were plummeting and the cost was skyrocketing. It makes sense that the costs are going up because Uzuki is taking down all these organizations, so assassinations are harder to come by. But the idea that demands are plummeting and assassins even cared about covert operations is hysterical to me with the kind of nonsense that we've seen go on in this arc. But I'm willing to set aside the fact that we haven't had much foundation laid for this to just enjoy what's in front of us, right? Genuinely speaking, the idea that Oki is on top of the Order and is willing to do whatever it takes to stay on top makes him a terrifying villain, genuinely. And I think that's enough for me to believe his twist and turn to Uzuki's side. And it's funny to me that everyone's like, this guy's sick in the head. And even though everyone at this point was a contracted assassin, so the fact that he is the most assassin of all of these assassins is a funny concept to me. The very fact that he's even willing to say that, look, doesn't matter what you believe, you're gonna die anyway. And he calls Sakamoto a normie when Sakamoto is like, isn't that a good thing? He truly is depraved. He truly does see things from a different side. The way that Sakamoto used to see things. And from that flashback we got with Shin, you can even see how jaded Sakamoto is to everyday emotions. Seeing how he reacts to Oki here compared to how a younger Sakamoto would have reacted in that flashback, the parallel is insane. And it makes sense that Oki would never be able to see things from Sakamoto's side, and vice versa. Sakamoto would never be able to see things from Oki's side, just like he did all these years ago. And as he sicks the Order members on everyone, one funny thing that I have to note is, despite Shin having the extreme power up that he got against Tenkyu, it is nothing in the face of Osaragi's pure brute force, just being able to literally tank what is supposed to be Shin trying to restrain her, and she literally takes him by the fucking hair and throws him into a wall. You also have Shishiba, who seems to be playing a character as of right now. As Heisuke correctly asks him, what would Hyo think about this? Because if you really do think about it, Hyo died fighting against X. Hyo died fighting against Kumanomi and doing everything he could to fight against what Slur was doing, to fight for what they believed was right. The Order turning tail and siding with Slur is a complete disrespect and spit in the face of Hyo, who we know our Order members cared about when he died. We know that they were upset. Even Nagumo, who doesn't show much emotion, shot off a bullet for Hyo. And we see here that Shishiba as a character, especially after he fought Yotsumura and had to go against his former master, someone that he couldn't understand why they defected, Shishiba is faced with almost a similar situation. Completely different but similar decision. Does he stay by his orders, or does he do with what he believes is right? It seems like that might be the case, because Shishiba, you know, throws Shin and Heisuke a quick little shh moment. So it seems like Shishiba isn't fully bought in to the order. He fully isn't bought into Oki's leadership and what he's currently doing. So we can trust that we may actually have an inside man. Another sad thing in this chapter is watching Boiled get absolutely destroyed. The brakes beaten off of him by Tanabata. I think that's his name, Guitar Guy. I cannot believe that this man, Suto Suzuki, brought Boiled back just to have him killed in front of my fucking eyes. Now, you could argue he may be able to survive becoming Tanabata's new fucking guitar and having a fucking just, you know, guitar, his intestines strummed like a guitar. Why did we bring Boiled back just for this, man? Why? You'd have to do this to me. I can't take it. The one thing I think is cute though, Sakamoto definitely hasn't completed his training. That is completely true. Shin got his power up against Tenkyu. Heisuke fought Kamihate and was able to actually one-up Kamihate in multiple situations. So we know Heisuke can compete with an order level member. So there are multiple people on Sakamoto's team, especially now that we have Nagumo, that are order level and can handle the threats of this, what seems to be the final arc of Sakamoto Days and the final set of villains that we're going to encounter. Sakamoto, who hasn't yet completed his training from what we know, because when he had that dinner with Torres, he wasn't yet able to grasp the concept of his housemaker skills. Torres thought he was holding back on him, yet Sakamoto just hadn't realized his full potential. However, we do see that Sakamoto has at least downloaded Torres' moveset, understands it, and is able to counter him easily. Although Torres here, with this brief little mention to Oki, it seems like Torres really isn't trying his hardest. We get here another interesting thing about Oki here, which is the fact that Sakamoto doesn't want to put innocent bystanders in danger with this big fight they're about to have. I mean, everyone here is almost order level, so it's gonna be fucking insane. Yet, Oki, who ironically enough was someone who didn't want to involve innocent bystanders before due to JAA law, now with the new JAA under the new regime where no laws exist whatsoever, Oki says, fuck it, kill all the bystanders, who cares? We don't give a fuck. Right around here, even though we are at the JAA prison, so, you know, undesirables, you know, it's sad that they'll die, but, you know, no one's really gonna miss them. However, this immediately transitions to the Sakamoto store, and it seems like there was a hitman that jumped in with a bomb strapped to them, and they blew up the entire Sakamoto store. And worst of all, Oki has it all live streamed to his phone so he can show Sakamoto that his wife and Lou may have just died in an explosion. Now, I will say, absolute cap, I'm calling full BS on the fact that Aoi just died here. There's one thing that I am sure of throughout all of Sakamoto Days. Aoi and Hana, untouchable. They will not die. They will either be saved here, because I know everyone has been hoping for Lou Xiao fucking Tang to become relevant again, right? We're all hoping for Lou to come back in. This could be Lou's chance to step in now that all the laws are away and it's just all-out chaos and battle royale across all of Japan. This is Lou's chance to step up, protect the family, and be great. But I do want to mention here, Aoi's reaction and Aoi's face expression, everything she's making here, and how Lou kind of thinks it's weird and she's very formal. She's not acting like the Aoi that we know and love. And I know a lot of people realize that Nagumo might be able to save them from this explosion here, but I don't think we should rule out that this might be Nagumo all along. It might be Nagumo in disguise, and Aoi and Hana are already safe, especially with everyone going to the prison, Sakamoto going out. Sakamoto may have asked, you know, Nagumo to get Aoi and Hana to safety in case things went awry. Again, at this point, the order is after everyone. Sakamoto literally brought Torres home, so they know where he lives. It wouldn't surprise me if either Aoi here was Nagumo or Nagumo stepped in to save them, but we can also hope Lou has a relevant moment, because it's been about 160 something chapters since we've seen Lou get wasted and kick some ass, and I think we're due for a drunk Lou drunken fist moment. Sakamoto does look shocked when this happens here, but again, this could be an act, or he generally could not realize that Nagumo already took advantage of this stuff. We know Nagumo does things behind his back often. Shin and Heisuke definitely look fucking pissed as well. And after the 3 minutes go off, Oki goes to stab Sakamoto and end everything. But in that moment, it is the return of the old heads. And I know a couple of chapters ago, we all predicted that Kindaka might be the one to save Sakamoto here. We all thought Kindaka would be accompanied by Nagumo, they'd break everyone out, and everything would be good to go. Kindaka as the former leader of the order, going up against Oki, who may have been a rookie when Kindaka was the older leader. You know, we don't know what relationship Oki and Kindaka have, but one thing that I just have to be honest about, I did not expect Kindaka to be tagging along with this fucking man right here, Yotsumura Satoru, the fucking man himself. Everyone knew he was lying in the shadows, still alive. Everyone knew he wasn't truly dead. There's no possible way. Shishiba didn't check the body, and Nagumo pulled it in and put in the work to make this team up happen. Yotsumura comes back in the best possible time, the most hype moment of all. The true goat of everything, who has more than enough beef with not just the Order, not just the JAA as a whole, but with all of this bullshit that's going down. If anyone can understand the plight of a family man in the assassin world, it's Yotsumura fucking Satoru. This man joining the Sakamoto team is not something I expected, but so fucking golden of a decision. There may be some tension between this new group. I have to imagine Yotsumura appearing before Amane definitely is going to be an issue. Yotsumura may have some conflicting ideals. A lot of these people may have some conflicting ideals, but I think in this moment where all chaos has broken out, factions don't matter anymore. Right? We need to stop this from happening, and we need to save Japan, save the Order, establish Sakamoto's as the new chain store of assassinhood. Let's erase assassins for good. Let's go to the world that Oki doesn't want to lose. Let's go to the world that Oki doesn't want to let take over. You know, I'm not saying cancel culture, fake news, and the Metal Gear Solid 2 hellscape is the correct world, but it's better than all-out fucking homicidal violence. Yeah, Nagumo pulling all the strings in the background. All of this makes, like, for everyone that said, you know, Suzuki's just kind of pulling things along and he doesn't really know what he's doing. Whether this twist was something new of development, it does seem like all of the pieces are falling into perfect place. And I can't be angry by any means with what we're getting from this story. And I am more than excited to see what it holds for us in the future, especially knowing that Shishiba saying he's alive. Shishiba is our inside man. Shishiba, I love that they have matching scars now. Isn't that cute? They have matching fucking scars from fucking Shishiba ripping Yotsumura's mouth open. And it's time for old head season, baby. Yotsumura saving the day for Sakamoto. We have potentially Nagumo or Lu, hopefully Lu, saving the Sakamoto store from this explosion. And where the story of Sakamoto Days is going, I have no idea from here. This seems to me like it's going to be, or setting up to be, the final arc of everything. What more could you possibly go for? There is chance that this could be extended. There is chance that, obviously, like we said in the last chapter review, civilians could start turning into their own hitman organizations, stealing other civilians' guns. It's really power over the weak. At this point, when the strongest survive and it's survival of the fittest, the weak are stepped on and crushed and destroyed in favor of the strong. And the weak will be taken advantage of, exploited. And honestly, all Izuki is doing is resetting the assassin world. And that's why Oki's just taking advantage of Izuki. If you really think about it, Izuki isn't really the star of the show at all. Oki is. Oki is just exploiting him to keep the assassins going. Whereas I think, as Oki calls it, you know, you even talk like a normie now. I think this new world that Sakamoto is trying to create is going to prove itself as the one that comes out. And this new world that Sakamoto creates isn't one that just occurs. This world of kindness, this world of, you know, I went into it a little bit last chapter, the social contract. Society itself isn't something that happens through instinct and nature. We are, at the end of the day, all animals. All killing is in our blood. Killing is in our instincts. every person wanting to at least kill someone 3 times in their life, I believe it. Most people don't actually follow through on those actions, but they don't follow through on those actions not because it's human nature to not follow through on those actions. It's human nature to follow on those actions. However, if you give someone a gun with 3 bullets in it, maybe they will take the opportunity. If you take away all laws to kill, maybe they will take that opportunity. But that's why the law is there. Society is fucking work. Living in society every day, having a social contract, walking around every day with the idea of I'm not gonna kill this person and this person's not gonna kill me, and I can walk past this person on the street and we're going to be okay. Like, that's work to take it there. That doesn't just happen. And Uzuki saying that, you know, human nature will override and human nature will take over if it becomes a world of kindness, then it was always meant to be. But if it doesn't, it is what it is. That's just not how things work. Someone said Uzuki was being dark woke, and I thought that was hysterical to say. And again, whether you believe what Uzuki is saying is correct or not, I think Uzuki wanting to go through a world reset and then seeing what comes afterwards, and then being surprised when it all amounts to the exact same results and the world ends up the exact same, should be no surprise. The world getting to where we have at this point, getting to what Oki describes as, you know, assassins becoming less prominent and, you know, societal ostracization becoming more of a primary way of getting your enemies taken care of. Whether you want to argue that's a good or bad thing or not, I would at least say it's a little bit better than killing the people that we don't like, right? I think I would prefer societal ostracization to we don't like this person, let's just fucking kill them. Yeah, he had cold control of the government and chose not to fix anything. Exactly. It's hard work. And again, not to get political, but this is the issue with revolutions. You know, you could burn it all to the ground, but if you don't have an idea for what to rebuild it with, then you're ultimately just going to end up repeating the exact same mistakes that you burn to the ground. You can't start a revolution and then expect things to get better on their own. You have to start a revolution, burn it to the ground, but with full mind of what to replace this system that you're breaking with. And that is Uzuki's fatal flaw wholeheartedly. Is that when asked last chapter, when asked what he wanted to do when the system was broken, he said, I don't know. Yeah, it's a very childish plan at the end of the day. A very childish plan at the end of the day. And the reason why it's bad is because all Suzuki is, and I might be repeating myself at this point, all Suzuki is as a figurehead for people like Oki to hide behind and take advantage of. Again, Oki is going to ensure nothing changes. All that changes is his job gets easier. He can do assassinations out in the open. He can maintain all the power that he always had. He doesn't lose anything in this situation. And the government, the prime minister, sure, you could argue they're the ones that lose. But again, what did Uzuki say? They never had any power to begin with. Who was always in charge? Asaki, Oki, the people in the order, Chairman Asaki, and whoever the fuck Chairman Asaki wanted to be, you know, in charge. Asaki's dead, sure, Uzuki killed him, but what changes? Nothing, absolutely nothing. And I think that is why Sakamoto and friends will prevail in the end, because whether Oki likes it or not, his world is dying, and this is the death throes. This is the wailing out of a wounded animal, right? This is what happens when an animal is wounded and they're about to die and they're about to fade out of existence. They scratch, they gnaw, and they fight like hell, and they crawl their way to fucking hell until they're dragged down to it, because they refuse to go down. And like I said, that's what Oki is currently doing. That's why the switch up from Oki. That's why Oki is willing to throw away JAA law. That's why Oki is willing to side with Slur and go against everything that he did, because Oki knows that it's only a matter of time before he becomes a thing of the past. Oki knows it's only a matter of time before his power goes away too. And he can't fucking stand that shit. He can't stand it. So these are Oki's death throes. Without further ado, and without me continuing to repeat myself, all I can say is I love everything that's happening in this chapter. It's also possible, saving Tenkyu, we might be able to pull him to our side now. I mean, we don't know what's going on with him. So whatever happens and whatever our final gang ends up being, all I know is I'm happy that fucking Satoru Yotsumura and Kindaka are a part of it. Until then, guys, I love and appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. and I will see you guys in the next chapter, whatever the hell that entails. But I'll be here to cover it. Peace, 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 peace.